Hello. Hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the healing community for adults who are healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and I'll be facilitating our time together today. We've all been joining here together, joining one another, coming here and meeting up for about once a week for over 10 years now. And it is such a joy to be here with you. Last week we did a little bit of a debrief of how everything went for our 5th annual CPTSD Awareness Day, which has turned into CPTSD Awareness Month. And again, with my hand on my heart, I just want to say thank you to each of you who attended. And thank you to each of you who participated. Thank you to each of you who purchased CPTSD awareness wristbands and decided to show up for workshops. And thank you for following all of the other community members and creators that I shared with you. Danny over at Healing CPTSD, also Dr. Ariel Schwartz, Lisa A. Romano. There were so many others that I'm, for some reason, struggling to, my brain isn't braining, as one of my colleagues likes to say. Also, Lily Hope Lucario over at Healing PTSD and complex trauma, healing complex trauma and PTSD.com. Her book, thank you all who decided to purchase her book. It wasn't that any of the proceeds or anything came to the foundation, but we wanted to support all of the different folks out there who are raising awareness about CPTSD and helping us to further our mission of just letting people know that repeated relational trauma is a thing and that we can heal together. Relational trauma happens, by definition, in relationship. And when we are traumatized in relationship, we must heal in relationship. And that's what we are doing here together. So I'm going to pause before we get started today. And I just want to say hello to those of you who are here. Hello to you, Jeffrey Sherman. I'm waving back to you, sending you hearts and smiles. Hello, Craig. I'm sending you hugs and hearts. Hello, Nadine. Sending you roses and smiley faces and hearts. And thank you, John Harvey, for the cake. I'm sending cake right back to you. Hello to you, Kitty. I'm waving to you, Mandy J, Lil J. Ninja Taco, hello, Recovery Buddies. So good to see you. Hello, Natalia. I'm sending hearts back your way. Thank you all so much. Thank you to each of you who are here. And yes, I want to echo what Nadine says. Thank you to the Blue Wrench crew, John Harvey and Ninja Taco, who have been here week after week, month after month, year after year, assuring that our chat space here on a weekly basis is a safe enough space for us to come together and meet without the occasional potato troll or other nefarious characters. So really appreciate the moderation, really appreciate everyone's presence here. And our theme this week is pause. What does a pause look like for you? Pausing. We're allowed to pause. So many of us dive headfirst into our healing journey, not even giving a second thought to the fact that we might need to pause, because pausing means that it could become a sustainable thing, right? A lot of us don't want to pause the healing that we're doing, the healing work, right? Because we think that if we hurry up and just get it all done already, that we're going to feel better and just be, all done, all healed. But sometimes what we end up finding out is that pausing the healing work is just as necessary as reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts and watching all the videos and participating in all of the online support groups and forums and meetups. And, even for me, being in trauma therapy twice a week, a couple of times I did 3 times a week, and most of the time just once a week, but still, sometimes taking a pause, it was necessary in order for me to not give up, because sometimes we just need to breathe. And sometimes we need things like rest and play, curiosity, creativity, video games, connection, fun, beach walks and sunsets and picking flowers and baking cookies and just having silly fun times of board games or whatever it is that helps you feel like, quote, a normal human, end quote, right? So often we look at the normies, we look at the norms, the normals, and we think, gosh, they really have it made. They don't have to deal with all this healing stuff. They don't have to have their entire existence swallowed up by all this healing of the trauma. And that's valid. If that's where you're at today, I really want you to know I see you. And I am you. I've been you. And what's also true is I'm a different person now that I've been choosing to show up for myself on a regular basis every single day. It's almost like I've created new habits in my life, and that is as a result of my choosing to heal my childhood trauma while I'm already an adult. The past 10 years or more has been largely me trying to figure out why life has been so hard for so long. So if that is you, wherever you find yourself today, maybe today is really a great day and you're feeling light and free and unburdened. I see you. Or if today was particularly hard and you're having memories or triggers or emotional flashbacks, or you're estranged from loved ones, or you don't feel safe, you don't feel like you belong, you don't feel worthy of good things or kindness. Maybe you feel really, really, really anxious and hypervigilant. Maybe you're stuck and you just struggle to get out of bed and you feel really low. All of these things are very, very, very common when you have experienced repeated relational trauma. So wherever you are today, I would love for you to sit with us for the next few minutes and just be here with us. Connect with others in the chat box, or you can simply listen. I brought the quote from Young Pueblo's most recent book. Thank you all for your feedback regarding Young Pueblo. I'm liking him as well. And then, of course, Morgan Harper Nichols. Her artwork is what you see on the screen. She's a mainstay. And then with Dr. Ariel Schwartz, we are nourishing our nervous system. And then we'll end our time together today with our Loving the Self affirmation with Lisa. I have to tell you, I put an inordinate amount of pressure on myself sometimes because without knowing it, I slip into perfectionism. Am I the only one? Is anyone here struggling sometimes with perfectionism, thinking that they need to to show up perfect or do it perfect, or the presentation has to be perfect, or they have to act perfect, or they have to perfectly respond to every message in a perfect amount of time, or they just have to say the right thing at the right time to the right people, and they just have to make sure that they don't make anybody mad, and that everybody likes them, and that they are seen and approved of and liked and cared for, and they want to help so many people with so many things, and if they just did it all perfectly and the right way, then they would feel safe. Then they would feel like they could, take a deep breath. Mandy J and Lil J, I struggle with perfectionism. Oh, it's me too. Yes. Thank you for seeing me. Kitty says, I feel unfulfilled for some reason. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know what that feels like. I do. Hello. Hello, Tepin. It's so good to see you again. I didn't get a chance to say hello to you earlier. And hello to you, Nadine. Nadine Marie. We have both Nadines here, and I didn't get a chance to say hi to both of you earlier. Kitty, I'm so sorry to know that you know what it feels like to feel unfulfilled. My hand is on my heart. I see you. John Harvey says, pausing the healing work can happen when we need a break from healing. Sometimes healing can be stressful. It's so true, right? I would love to know how each of you decides to pause. So for you, John Harvey, is it through poetry? Is it through artwork? Is it through volunteerism? Is it through just spending time alone? What about you, Kitty? What about you, Tepin? What about you, Nadine, Ninja Taco, Natalia, Craig, Jeffrey Sherman? Anyone else I might have missed? Hello, Lisa. So good to see you. So good to see everyone. Ooh, Nadine says, oh, I am a recovering perfectionist. Likewise. Yeah, I'm really trying to just release it all. I really needed and wanted, put a lot of pressure on myself for Awareness Day / what is now known as Awareness Month, which is the first time, like a couple months ago, we decided, my gosh, how are we going to fit all this in one day, right? So here we did, we make a month out of it. And then all that means is, here I think in my mind that I'm giving us more time to share all the things that we want to share. But what I end up doing in my brain is I simply stress out 30 times more than I typically would have. So all the stress that I would typically put on myself for Awareness Day, just multiplied by 30, which is really just more than one human can handle. I still have a whole bunch of unread and unresponded to emails from like a month ago. And I'm like, oh, I'm shaming the shit out of myself for not showing up perfectly and doing it perfectly. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's hard. What is pausing the healing work look like for you? And what does recovering perfectionism look like for you? Nadine says, oops, I hit the send button. I'm just returning to the CPTSD Foundation groups. Yay! After a long pause, I'm so glad. I needed to connect more deeply just with my higher power and to test myself. Yeah. Oh, and your abilities. Absolutely, yes. I honor you, Nadine. My hand is on my heart. I honor you. I honor your process and your journey. And it's always good to see you in whatever capacity that might be. I'm so happy. So happy that you were able to reconnect with your higher power. John Harvey says, I will never be perfect, and I'm okay with it. Other people may want us to be perfect. That's true, John Harvey. John Harvey says, I pause with chocolate cake. That sounds very, 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 very delicious and quite fattening for me. My metabolism doesn't like it when I do that. But I see you. That sounds so valid and so fun and delicious. Oh, you're so welcome, Kitty. Tepin pauses the healing work with nature. I love that. You know, I'm a big fan of that. Sometimes I spend time on my patio just sitting for hours and hours and hours. Sometimes I even just fall asleep sitting out there looking at nature. All the trees and the birds and the bugs and the little animals and just the sky and my plants, and it just is so soothing and healing for me. John Harvey says, I actually pause with poetry. Oh, John Harvey, I wish you would contribute some of your poetry if it feels right and safe for you. I wish you would contribute that and just share it publicly if you ever want to. We have a blog at the foundation. It goes out to like, I don't know, 100,000 people or something. But I would absolutely love for your poetry, if you would like to share it, to reach other souls who know what it's like to be on a healing journey. I could easily connect you with someone for you to do that. You've been here with us for so long, and I love that is how you pause. Unless, of course, your poetry has nothing to do with healing. That's okay too. That's awesome. Nadine says, I totally agree with John Harvey. Healing can be stressful sometimes. Like, I have to heal from the healing. Exactly. Yes. Healing from the healing is so real. It's a real thing. Yes. Kitty says, I pause with rest and laying down. Me too, Kitty. I've started a little ritual. I have like snuggle time and cuddle time with just with me and like my younger parts of me that are learning to trust me, the adult me. And we just spend time together and we just lie down. And I usually will say things or think thoughts like, I'm so proud of us. We're doing so good. We're doing so good. We're doing so good. And yes, I know it's not proper English to say we're doing so good. I realize proper English is we are doing so well. However, these younger little parts of me just want to know that they're doing so good. And so I want them to know that they're doing so good. You know? Yeah. Ooh, Ninja Taco says, I pause with fun art projects. I love that. Our journal prompt today is, what does pausing the healing work look like for you? Thank you all so much for sharing. Hello, Jennifer. Lisa says, I pause with nature and bird watching with the Merlin Bird app. That is so cool. I didn't know there was an app. Jennifer, I'm so sorry there's another hurricane. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Jennifer. I hope the hurricane doesn't hit your area. I hope you are safe. Thank you for clarifying, John Harvey. Nature and poetry are my things to relax. Ooh, your poetry is on X and in Vinny's poetry group. Amazing. Go you, John Harvey. Hello, Midnight Blue. So good to see you. Our conversation, our journal prompt is, what does pausing the healing work look like for you? What does that mean to you? What does that mean for you? Kitty says, that sounds nice. I have a lot of stuffed animals. I love that. Jeffrey Sherman says, heal from trauma, then rest and recover from the exhaustion of the healing work. Whew. Yes. Healing from the healing is a thing. Healing from the healing. Definitely. Lisa says, praying for everyone in Florida. I have family in the path of the storm. I'm so sorry. My hand is on my heart. I'm sending all my love, good thoughts, prayers, everything to each and every one of you who are in the path. Just hoping for your safety, thinking of you. Mandy J and Lil J rely on dissociating a lot when they pause for healing work, unfortunately. You know, that's actually quite brilliant. I want to pause. I want to pause and I want to honor the parts of you who are so brilliant that they know that they can dissociate in order to feel safe enough. And while that is not a sustainable, adaptive coping strategy, long term, it is certainly brilliant. And I myself relied heavily on dissociation for close to decades, quite honestly, Mandy J and Lil J. I need you to know that that is absolutely common and, quote, normal, if you will. You know, I just want you to know that we can't do this wrong. However it is that we pause, the important thing is that we know, please don't miss this, the important thing isn't how we pause. The important thing is for us to know that we have permission to pause and that there's no way we can do it wrong. We're allowed to pause. No one gets to tell us that we're not allowed to pause our healing work. We are the only ones that know what's best for us. I am the only one who knows what is best for my healing journey. You are the only one that knows what is best for your healing journey. You have choices now. When we were children, we didn't have choices, and tools were not given to us. But today we have choices, and you are the only one that knows what's best for you. Okay? So grateful that you've chosen to be here. I missed so much. My chat box just went crazy and I can't scroll up for some reason. Jeffrey Sherman says, I don't pause. I'm too busy distracting and dissociating. But when I finally do pause, the best thing I've found is being in nature for a while. Yes, being in nature is so helpful. Although it's such a cliche now, literally, go touch grass is a healthy thing for our nervous systems. It is, though, and I know it sounds cliche, but it is so very true. It does sound cliche. I'm trying to page up to all the things I missed in the chat box, and I apologize for anyone I unintentionally skipped over. It was truly unintentional. For some reason, my chat box is like frozen. So, thank you all for participating in this week's journal prompt and open discussion about healing CPTSD and what it looks like to pause the healing work. I now have all of our nervous system regulation related tools to go along with our discussion. So for those of you who would like to participate, please feel free to stay. There's absolutely no pressure. Again, we have our Young Pueblo quote, our Morgan Harper Nichols meditation, Her artwork is on the screen. We have Dr. Ariel Schwartz, Compassionate Healing Strategy, Nourishing Our Nervous System, and then we will end our time together with Lisa's Loving the Self affirmations. Okay? So I love this. This is page 181 from Young Pueblo's most recent book titled The Way Forward. I love this. It's so empowering. He says, "It was not time that healed you. It was your courage to feel everything you used to run from. Being with yourself and meeting your tension is hard, but it is the only way to release what has been bottled up inside you. Your pain was simply asking for your attention." So powerful. Your pain was simply asking for your attention. Amazing. So Morgan's simple reminder for us this week: you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to pause. And then she goes on to remind us about some ways, like we did a couple weeks ago, some ways that we might start to notice that we've been growing at our own pace. This whole year, 2024, we've been talking about healing and learning and growing at our own pace. We are choosing the pace of our healing journey. So she says, when we let ourselves outgrow a dream, we might start to realize that we're allowed to change our mind. We're allowed to consider that even though something worked for us for some time, we're allowed to say goodbye and explore something new. And we're allowed to do this at our own pace. Sometimes changes happen in big leaps, and then other times a series of smaller steps, but we are allowing ourselves to embrace the process by paying attention to the different rhythms of being in different spaces. And then another way that we can start to notice that we're giving ourselves permission to go at our own pace is when we let ourselves dream a new dream without worrying about what other people might think. So if we're starting to maybe realize that we're starting to come to the conclusion, and it's sort of like an epiphany, like, we're truly growing here. We're really healing, right? And some of the ways we might start to feel that way, that we're really, truly growing, is when other voices might appear, real or in our mind. Voices, either our inner critic or other people. These voices appear, and they may not be in agreement with what it is we're doing, but we breathe deeply and we release it. We find a way to move onward anyway. And this doesn't mean that we never feel the weight of other people's words or that we don't fear what they might be thinking, but instead, a clear sign that we are actually healing at our own pace is even when that rises up in us, those thoughts and that concern, we recognize that it doesn't stop us from carrying onward. We're learning to listen for the wisdom of what we hear while also recognizing when someone is speaking out of their own fear instead of what's best for us. And it takes a lot of time to learn how to figure this out. And also it takes a lot of time, as many of you well know. There are 20 of us in this room together. And I think we can all sort of nod along because we know that it takes a long time to find others with whom we can talk about our healing. And we're learning that we can pace ourselves in finding these people. And we can still grow as we are learning, right? We can still grow while we're learning to find our tribe, find our community, find those with whom we feel safe enough to discuss what it is that we've been through and what it is that we are looking for in our healing journey. We get to pause and go as slowly as we need to go until we find those with whom we feel safe enough openly sharing with. We don't have to share with everyone. And you know what I've noticed? This is completely not what Morgan Harper Nichols is talking about, because she still has this lovely meditation that I want to read to you, but I don't want to forget to tell you this. For me, when I start feeling the urge, like I just can't stop myself from like sharing, and then I realize, oh my gosh, I'm oversharing. I've learned that that's a trauma response. I've learned that the person with whom I'm speaking may or may not be a safe enough person, but there's a younger part of me that wants to hurry up and either qualify or disqualify them as a safe enough person because they are vibrating at a similar frequency that feels very familiar to something I've experienced previously. And there's part of me that's very, 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 very afraid. And so when I get the urge or I find myself oversharing, I'm now able to almost slow down time like I'm in the Matrix, where like Neo slows down the bullets or moves his body in such a way that the bullets miss him. And it's wild. And the only way I'm able to do that is by our journal topic today, which is pausing, slowing down, and allowing myself to go at a pace that I feel safe. What pace feels safe enough for me? What pace feels comfortable? So I'm going to go back to what Morgan Harper Nichols is saying, but I know many of you have written to me asking me about oversharing and why do I always overshare? I feel so ashamed. And please just know that there is a younger part of you that's very, 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 very afraid of not feeling safe, and they're just trying to create a pocket of safety for themselves to just be themselves. And the only way they know how to create a pocket of safety for themselves is to fawn and to talk, and talk some more and share, and share some more. And to hopefully say enough that the other person will want to see them, will notice them, will hear them, will understand them, will believe them. Okay? It's not your fault. So Morgan says, another way we know that we are healing at our own pace is when there are spaces in our lives where we are okay with uncertainty. When there are spaces where we're okay, even though there's a whole bunch of things that are going on that are unknown, there are still those unknowns, but we're allowing ourselves to grow into the possibility of releasing the need to control the unknowns. We're learning to let go. We sometimes start off small by accepting the unpredictability in simple moments and by embracing moments where we might not have clarity for everything, and we begin to learn the skills of navigating uncharted waters of turbulent healing possibilities and questions. But what ends up happening is that we find beauty amidst it all. And with time, we have been learning that it's okay to grow into a deeper awareness of who we can grow with. With whom do we feel safe enough to grow beside? With complete certainty about everything. And it's not going to be everyone, right? It's taken me, I didn't meet you all until I was 40 years old. I'm 50 now. So I was 40 years old until I found my people, my community, my tribe, those with whom I feel safe enough. You all see me, you hear me, you understand me, you are me. It's a beautiful thing to feel seen and heard and valued and understood. When we come here together every single week and we see one another, and we do that enough times, we start to realize that we are not the problem. The trauma we experienced was a circumstance, right? So again, we're learning that it's okay to grow into a deeper awareness of who we can grow with complete certainty. With whom do we feel safe enough? And through patience, curiosity, and discovery, we are becoming more adept at dancing with the ever-shifting rhythms of life. Morgan says, when we find joy in simplicity, and we start to even practice a little bit of gratitude, not for the trauma, not for the pain, not for the years lost. No, but we have gratitude for those with whom we are now connected, and those moments of clarity and peace that we have hard earned. And we are embracing the reality of growing at our own pace. And on ordinary days, we can find just a couple of things worth noticing or cherishing. Even the most subtle moments, whether it's a moment in nature, or the way the sun is shining through the window of your home or your car, or where you may be sitting at class or work. Sometimes when we've been at this healing journey for a while, this healing work, we start to notice small details in the stories we hear others share. And sometimes we're just grateful to be present with them without worrying about what our story might be or how our story might compare. We're happy to just be there and to just bear witness to another. We start to pay attention to the things around us that bring us comfort, the things in our home, in our community, in our space. These things are not merely objects. They hold special meaning for us. And for this, we can express gratitude by acknowledging the joy these things bring and their significance in our lives as often as we can. This is a huge sign of healing. And these are just a few ways that we can start to notice that we're healing at our own pace, right? These are only starting points, all these things that Morgan is mentioning here. There are so many ways for us to continue growing at our own pace, and we don't have to be able to navigate this healing journey perfectly before we can pay attention to what excites us. Oh, the neighbor has a visitor, a little doggo. The little neighbor dog has a friend. Apologies for the interruption, but that was very cute. But yes, Morgan's final note here is allow yourself to think about how you can tell that you've been growing at your own pace. What are some other ways other than the ones we talked about today? It might only be a thought, but you're absolutely allowed to dedicate more time to pondering and reflecting on how this pausing or healing at your own pace, how this can flourish in your life, how it can be meaningful for you. Because it's going to be different for you than it is for everyone. Your journey is unique. I'm so glad that you're here on this healing journey. with all of us here. So Dr. Ariel has our nourishing the nervous system. And I know we're running a little bit long today in our time together, but I'm really, really hoping that if you're able to, if you would sit and ponder some of these things with me. These are just some ideas that Dr. Ariel is offering for us. Ways we can nourish our nervous system. If you're a note taker, you can jot some of these down if you'd like. This is from page 98 of Dr. Ariel's book, A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD, Compassionate Healing Strategies to Begin Healing Childhood Trauma. And she says we can access the healing power of our vagus nerve through our social nervous system, the most recently evolved circuit of the vagus nerve, which helps us to feel safe and connected, like we do here in this room together. So this can help us to manage our parasympathetic nervous system. So whenever we need to, we can remain as calm as possible whenever we start to feel distressed. So it's important that when we decide to think about these things or jot these ideas down, it's important that we do this during a time and in a place where we feel safe enough and that we have ample time to simply contemplate or participate in whatever one of these we decide to jot down. There are 7 of them, and you can jot down all of them, or one of them, or none of them. You can't do this wrong. The fact that you're here in this room with 25 of us here together, and you can hear my voice, even if you're on a replay, you're here. You showed up for you, and that matters. So the first option that Dr. Ariel is inviting us to consider is one that many of you have shared with me, and that is listening to a soothing piece of music and humming along or singing along. And this stimulates our vagus nerve. This increases the feelings in our body of groundedness, connectedness, and calm. Listening to a piece of music and humming along, which stimulates our vagus nerve. Next, one of my favorites, I do this almost every day. We can bring one hand over our heart and one hand over our belly and just enjoy a couple of slow breaths. I love that. Again, that second one was bringing one hand over our heart and one hand over our belly and taking a couple of slow breaths. And if we extend our exhale twice as long as our inhale, we'll usually get a nice big yawn. Option number 3 that Dr. Ariel is suggesting is to bring our hands lovingly up to our face and our cheeks and our head, and to gently touch our cheeks or to move our hands over the top of our head in a gentle, loving way. And if this feels weird, that's okay. It's weird for a lot of people. You can perhaps imagine that you are touching the face of a dear friend or a little child with tender, loving care. Whenever I do that, I always yawn. Something about touching my cheeks and just being gentle with myself, it causes me to yawn. I think it's because I didn't have any of this in the first, couple decades of my life, like zero. And so anytime I experience this over the past 30 years, it's, there's a higher likelihood that I'm going to feel safe and grounded and connected and calm. Our fourth option that Dr. Ariel is inviting us to consider is to engage our sense of smell with an essential oil or a flower or something that we find pleasant, a scent that brings a positive or neutral feeling. 2 recommendations here are peppermint or lavender. They are the 2 that are the most popular in the complex trauma community because they are the 2 that are the least possible to cause a triggering response. Peppermint or lavender, or anything that you find personally soothing and that brings a positive feeling. Any type of scent where you can engage your sense of smell. Special thank you to Midnight Blue for typing out all of these options in the chat box. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you. Our next option that Dr. Ariel is inviting us to consider is to reflect on a memory of a time, any time, when you felt connected and loved. Any time at all. It could be here in this room together, like we are every Monday for a decade. It could be with your pet. It could be any time at all where you felt connected and loved. Allow yourself to relax into the positive feelings of the memory, any memory, when you felt connected and loved. The next option that Dr. Ariel is inviting us to consider, we've talked about this with Ninja Taco. Is Ninja Taco still here? Maybe, is Kitty still here? This is one of the favorites here. Dr. Ariel's invitation is to snuggle with a pet or a stuffy. A pet or a stuffed animal, or even a soft blanket. This helps us to access the healing power of our vagus nerve. Yes, snuggling with a pet or a stuffed animal or a soft blanket. this activates our vagus nerve. Is anyone here a fan of the Squishmallows? I love the Squishmallows. There's a pineapple one that I think I'm going to get. I'm going to get one for me and one for my grandson. And lastly, the last invitation from Dr. Ariel to access the healing power of our vagus nerve is to call or connect with a caring friend and savor the experience of being connected. I have a couple of my dearest girlfriends. We'll have phone dates occasionally. I mean, it's, I can count them on less than one or two hands, but I do truly, truly treasure those times of feeling deeply connected with another human. It's really, really, really wonderful. And I think being here with one another counts as well. As long as you're able to pause and savor the experience of feeling connected. So I guess the presupposition is that when you come here, are you able to feel connected? And if the answer is no, that's okay. I've received emails from many of you that it took you 5 or 6 years before you felt connected and safe to sort of speak up and say hello. You would show up and you would be here, but you weren't really sure. Like, what is this community? Is this some sort of a weird, like, complex trauma cult? What do they want from me? The answer is nothing. We don't want anything from you. We're just glad you're here. And we want you to know that we see you and we honor you and we value your healing journey. You are the boss of you. You get to choose how you heal and with whom you choose to heal beside. And this is just one of billions of options to do that. So thank you for your presence in our community. We will end our time together with our Loving the Self affirmation from Lisa. This is a really empowering one. And remember, we get to move the words around until they land. If it doesn't feel true, don't try to force it. Don't ever try to force an affirmation. If someone is trying to force you into some sort of feel-good, airy-fairy, flowery, all is well, I am awesome sort of a thing, and it doesn't feel true for you, the best thing in the whole world you can do is trust yourself and just skip it and thank them and let them know that you're so glad that that is true for them. It's just, you're not there, So again, we're going to read through this the way that Lisa wrote it, and then we'll go back and we'll do like an alternate version, and we'll move the words around a little bit until it lands. Okay? Lisa says, and this is on page 43, Loving the Self Affirmations. This is a free book that you can download. All you have to do is Google Lisa A. Romano, Loving the Self Affirmations, free ebook, and it will take you to a link and you can download it, and it's free. And this is on page 43. And she says, in the past, I tended to ignore my gut instincts or my intuition because I preferred not to confront issues I thought might upset the apple carts in my life. Today, I will honor those hunches and refuse to allow myself to continue to slip into states of denial. It is what it is, and people are who they are. I will no longer allow myself to get lost trying to get other people to change so that I could feel better. Today, I know that the only thing I can control is my attitude, and that feels empowering. So let's redo this one. Let's switch it up. Let's make it CPTSD friendly, shall we? So in the past, I tended to ignore my gut instincts and my intuition because I was afraid to confront issues that I thought might upset people in my life. But what if today I could honor my hunches? And what if today I could refuse to allow myself to slip into states of denial? What if people are who they are? And what if the only thing I can control is me? I am open to the possibility of refusing to allow myself to get lost, trying to get other people to change. Today, I am open to participating in my healing journey and controlling me and my attitude. And that feels empowering. I encourage you to move the words around and to only participate in affirmations that feel true for you. Because you don't have to do it the way other people do it. They're just guidelines. They're not like, there's no one way to heal. There are 8 billion different possible healing journeys on the planet, and yours is unique to you. And it might look similar to mine. It might look similar to his or hers or theirs, but it's definitely not going to be identical. I have met some pretty magnificent people along this journey, but I've yet to meet someone that needs to heal in the exact way that I'm healing, because my lived experience is unique to me, which means my healing experience is unique to me. Yes. Honoring our intuition. You are so welcome, Tepman. Hello, Dilly Gaff. I didn't get a chance to say hi to you earlier. Dilly Gaff says, relearning to trust myself has been the best thing I've ever done so far. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. I agree. And it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done, honestly. I was expertly trained not to trust myself and to subjugate myself and to only trust those around me and to do what they said. But you know what? No more. I'm not doing that anymore. That's not why I'm here. That's not my job on this planet. My job on this planet is to get to know me and to listen to me and to heal at my pace and to take care of myself so that I can be of service to others. I'm of no good to anyone else in this world, not my friends, not my loved ones, not my family like you all. I mean, you all are my friendly family of choice. I'm of no service to you if I don't take care of myself, right? And how am I going to be there for my grandbabies, my son, my daughter-in-law, my friends, my loved ones? The answer is I won't be if I don't show up for me, right? Oh, thank you, Dilly Gaff. Nadine says, when I don't trust myself and my intuition, I get in trouble. So I have learned to stop silencing my inner voice and authority. Good for you. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely yes. Jeffrey Sherman says to Midnight Blue, yes, our bodies often tell us what they need, but others around us may not understand and just push forward with what they know from their own experiences. Yes, because we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And if that is true, then conversely, other people don't see us the way that we really are. They see us as they are. We are simply a projection. So the only way for us to be true to ourselves and to become the most authentic versions of ourselves and the healthiest versions of ourselves is to continue to show up for ourselves and learn to trust ourselves so that we may be of service to others and help others, right? It has been so wonderful to spend this hour with you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence in my life. Thank you for being in my life, for allowing me to be in yours. And I hope to see you over in our community. And if I do, fantastic. And if I don't, that's okay, because I will be back here next Monday and every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And in the meantime, please be extra kind, patient, and gentle with yourselves, because you're worth it. And I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.